Welcome back. Hold My Helmet Football Podcast. I'm your host, Bill Reichling.
Co-host Dylan Boyle.
What's up, Dylan Boyle? How's it going, man?
It's good, man. I mean, this is my favorite time of year. We're getting to the playoffs. We have the games that actually mean stuff, you know.
I actually pointed at the little vessel here because I thought you meant Christmas is the best time of year.
No.
Well, it is
it's
because
all right,
it is.
Football, I mean,
That's
we get to football playoffs, what's better than that?
Bro, that's the thing. Christmas, December football, end of the season, people fighting for teams fighting for playoff spots. This actually could be the best time of the year. And my birthday's tomorrow. Actually, when this video posts, it will be my birthday, December 11th.
Happy birthday, brother.
So thank you. Little birthday episode here.
Little birthday episode. Let's go.
And last Thursday, we had basically an NFC North heavyweight showdown. Packers-Lions. And Dylan, the Packers started off a little slow in this game, but they came back. Not really came back, but they kind of got back into the game. And it was a very good game at the end. George, go ahead. You could start.
Well, I was going to say, this Packers-Lions, it's basically a rivalry right now. Like, this is going to be, you know, a game that we always look forward to. I mean, it's always going to be a showdown with these two. I mean, like, the way that both of these teams are projected. But, man, Jordan Love, I mean, yes, the Lions played their ass off, and they you know, they won the game, but I don't know. I feel like I was more convinced about, you know, Jordan Love being, you know, he's the guy. You know what I mean? It solidified it in this game for me. But him, Josh Jacobs, them getting them was a game changer. I mean, he is, you know, he's carrying this offense in his own way.
So, Jordan Love made about 3 to 4 special throws tonight where I was like, that's just stupid. The one where he evaded pressure.
And then threw it on his left side.
Yeah,
right?
and complete dot. I think it was to Christian Watson. He makes plays sometimes like that where you're like, this is why you drafted him in the first round. This is why you drafted him when Rodgers was well, actually, he didn't win the back-to-back MVPs. Yeah, but this is why you drafted him when you still had Aaron Rodgers. And
hindsight, that worked out very well.
You went from Favre to Rodgers to Jordan Love now, so of course it's worked out very well. He's showing why he's a top 10 quarterback. Maybe eventually he'll tier on the top 5, but right now he's solidified top 10. He came from behind, got back in the game. You know, he started off slow, but in that second half they really got it going, Dylan. The problem with the Packers for me is that exact thing that I just said. They started off slow, then they get it going in the second half. They did that against the Vikings. They seem to be a little inconsistent on offense. Jaden Reed didn't have a single catch. You know, he was really coming on in the beginning of the season. You have games where Christian Watson doesn't catch a ball either. I feel like they're very hit or miss on offense. So, they're a high-powered offense. Don't get me wrong. They're one of the top offenses in the league. But they lack that consistency quality to where Josh Jacobs brought that in a little bit, but they still have games where they kind of disappear a little bit. So it might be a problem.
You brought up a great point. They start off slow and they pick it up in the second half. Now, what usually happens in the first half, the first quarter, and then, it kind of goes off into the quarterback. It's a script in the first half, and then, it kind of teeters off into play calling, and, it's kind of on the QB at that point. I feel like it's more of the play calling here. In my eyes, at least. I mean, once you kind of give the ball to Jordan Love, he kind of takes over.
So Matt LaFleur is a really good offensive head coach. So I wouldn't even go there, but I would say because this guy's done a great job this season. Like three games from Malik Willis, and they were winning games. So Matt LaFleur could call plays. I just think Jordan Love. I think you actually hit a nail on the head that you didn't think you hit, but you kind of did hit it. Jordan Love is better off script. He's not a kind of quarterback that needs to be confined within a system. He likes rolling out, chucking the ball down the field, and that's what he's better at. So, yeah, you actually kind of hit it on the head. First 10, 15 plays, first quarter, it's scripted. And he's more of a rollout guy, roll out of the play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, does that part of Jordan Love need to improve? I think so, honestly. I think he needs to get better playing in rhythm of the offense a little bit, but he's still a top 10 quarterback. There's a talent alone.
This is the type of quarterback you can kind of mold. I mean, it doesn't seem like, he's teetering one way or he's teetering the other. He's very flexible.
No, he's coachable too, so he'll learn.
Absolutely.
He's quiet. He's a good guy. So
I think that they're going to be just fine.
They are fine.
I mean,
there's just so many good teams right now.
1 year away is definitely a good grasp on this team.
They're
right there.
They're a top 4 or 5 team in the NFC this year, but I don't know if they're going to be a Super Bowl
one or two
team.
more players Watch out.
They have so many players at receiver, but at the same time, it's like
young players.
Sometimes
too.
they don't get the ball though, so maybe they have too many. I don't know. They do need some more defensive players, I think. But they are a top 4 team in the NFC, top 4 or 5 team. But like this, like the Lions, the Vikings in their own division. So are they going to make a Super Bowl this year? Probably not. But they're
know.
Right there.
You
they
never
are
know.
right there.
I mean, they're coming on hotter and hotter every week.
So the Lions, dude, they last season were very, very, very close to a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Dan Campbell had a chance to kick the field goal, take the lead in the NFC Championship game, and he went for a 4th down. Didn't get it. Some people say he might have cost them the game.
And you think he would learn his lesson from that? Well, some would say.
There's been situations and times where it's paid off for him, and I like him sticking to his guns and showing this is who I am. But there's going to be some situations where it's not worth it. You have a chance to kick the game-clinching field goal, and what, they're going to get 30 seconds left? If you can't stop a team with 30 seconds, and how many times they had? I think they only had like 1 timeout.
Well, let's break it down, play by play. So, they're driving down the field. What was it, 28? It was 28-28. It was a tie game. They get within the 30-yarder. It was 4th and short with a minute and change left. I'm pretty sure the Packers had 1 timeout. And instead of, kicking the easy field goal, they go for it. Tied game, within field goal range, they go for it.
And it's not like it was a 2-minute warning, 3 minutes, 1 minute. It was 30-something seconds, Dylan?
With the timeout too.
Yes. How many? It was. The Packers only had 1 timeout, correct?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it was only 1 timeout left. Now that they have 3 timeouts, Dan Campbell, sometimes he does this to just show off. And, is it almost like showing off in a way? I don't know.
It's like...
I don't want to say that because I love him as a head coach. He's a leader. He's clearly built the culture here. But like sometimes it backfired in the NFC Championship game. People wanted to say the entire offseason that at least he stuck to his guns. If he keeps doing this, he's gonna keep running into situations like this because it's never 100% when you go for a 4th down. Maybe 60%, 70%, 50%, 80%. It's never 100.
And, there's those plays where you say, it's like, okay, if it works, he's a hero. If he doesn't, you question it. I feel like no matter what happens in this situation, we're going to question it.
This situation, they were successful, and we were still
And I was still, like, a head scratcher.
I'm sure some people still agree with it. They're like, no, look, he sealed the game there. I didn't agree with it. I don't agree with it. Never in that situation would I be doing that.
What's the expression they say? You die by the sword that... What was it?
I don't know. But
you know what expression I'm talking
about. You die in the sword. I don't know. I'm not good with these
You're not good. Okay.
You're not good. I'm good.
I just think I love his motivation. Like, he sticks with it. He's consistent. You never know what you're going to get with this guy. But you're right. I feel like it's going to come around to bite them in the ass. And especially and in big games, too.
Especially with all the injuries, specifically on defense. Like, maybe that on top of, like, him sometimes missing the mark with his decision making, that might cost them. Because I still think, and we'll get into this a little later, we're going to do our top 10 next video, stay tuned, but I still think they're the best team in the league, and I still think this is one of the best coaches in the league. What he's done with this team, he's probably going to win Coach of the Year. But these are the things that sometimes you got to chill, bro. Just chill. Sometimes being conservative is okay. It's not always being a pussy.
They do have one of the best run offenses in the league,
and that's probably why they went for
4th and inches.
You live and die by your best players, so I understand that. But it almost turned into a complete disaster with him falling to his knee.
Yeah, right. Oh my God,
that could have ended so much.
It could have,
but he got the handoff off.
But it wouldn't have been the end of the game. At the same time, it would have went to overtime. They were feeling confident.
No, it's look.
You got to think of what he's thinking, but at the same time, I don't think the means justify
the odds.
The odds, or
is that the saying? We're really bad with terms today.
We're terrible.
Oh my God! But yeah, I think it's getting to the point where it's becoming a little too risky at times. But it was a regular season game. So,
it was. But he's the type of guy to do this in a playoff.
It happened in the NFC Championship game.
Exactly.
So he could have taken the lead on the field goal, and he decided to go for it.
I think this is just the guy we got.
No, and some people respect. Oh, I respect that still. He is who he is. He's not gonna just pussy out like Antonio Pierce, one of the toughest linebackers in the league. Raiders head coach. He's probably the pussiest head coach I've ever seen. Kicking field goals with like a minute left and down by 2 scores. So like, at least he's not that. Okay. Now, let's get to our next game, bro, because this game was also I think these were probably the best two games of the week. Packers Lions on Thursday Night Football. Then you had the 4 o'clock slate, Bills Rams, and I think we all thought going into this game, okay, Bills are going to blow by the Rams. Rams are good, but they're not great.
Yeah, exactly.
The Rams came to play when the Los Angeles Rams have their best offensive pieces all clicking at once. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua especially, Kyron Williams, Stafford. They are. Who could stop this team when they play like that, Dylan? Then they have those pass rushers, Jared Verse and Fisk, who they both drafted. This team actually, it's weird because a couple weeks ago I was saying, are they chopped? Now I'm thinking, can they make a run here? It's possible.
You mentioned this before. It's the inconsistency for me. I mean, you're right. When they're humming, they're humming. They can put up 50 points in a game.
They were like the Dolphins last year. Very similar to that.
Absolutely. I mean, they have so many weapons. I mean, if they use them right, you can't stop this team. But on the other hand, you never know which Rams team you're going to get.
And who's going to get injured. And
exactly.
It seems like there's always something falling.
If they play the right teams in the playoffs, I think they can make a run. Even for an NFC championship. I don't see why not.
They're still viable to win the division. Seattle's been playing well. They got the Niners coming up this week. It's going to be huge for them. But yeah, when this offense is rolling, who could stop it? I mean, it is something to watch.
Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp. It's like these are all household names.
Where do you put Puka Nacua as far as wide receivers in this league?
I have him top 3. I have Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase right there neck and neck, and then Puka Nacua. He is that guy.
I agree.
He makes those plays in big-time moments.
And he's great with yards after the catch. Very tough.
Absolutely.
He'll run through someone. He's actually
there was this one play. They had like 3 people trying to drag him down. He would not go down. They had to blow the whistle.
Really strong player. Dude, Josh Allen, they were down 38-21. Josh Allen bringing them back by down to 17. Almost would pulling that off too. 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns. I'm not sure if that's ever happened before. I'm pretty sure it's been the first time in the longest time, if ever. This a historic game and they lose.
This was one game where I saw Josh Allen play. I'm like, he literally put this team on his back and dragged them to the final snap.
Right.
I mean, the rushing yards, the rushing touchdowns, he was just literally putting it all on his back.
Well, look,
not making any mistake, not making any of the dumb interceptions he used to make. It's like he's matured like so much within the last year or two.
His turn, yes, he's gotten very efficient with the ball. Doesn't turn the ball over as much anymore. Josh Allen played great, and the defense didn't play great in this game. Yes, but I still think the Bills are a top team in this league. I'm not freaking out about them. Why? I think this is one of the situations where you just tip your hat to the Rams. It's just like, hey, they just had a day. It's one of those days that the Rams were just like the Rams. You know what I mean? Like, you just gotta tip your hat to them, man.
But, God forbid, the Bills play in their atmosphere in the snow. We saw how they were last week.
Well, think about it. The Rams...
if it was the other way around and the Bills are home, I think this would have been a blowout.
That's a very good point because the Rams' LA team playing warm weather...
Exactly.
Very good point. Very, very, very good point.
Home field advantage was a big factor in this game.
And you know what? It's just one of those games that I'm more like... I think this is more positive for the Chiefs than negative for the Bills. Like, I think we should just give the Rams their flowers. Did I say the Chiefs? Did I say the Chiefs just now? I meant the Rams. I think I might have said the Chiefs. I might have said the Chiefs.
The Chiefs are a very similar team. They're a cold weather team,
Dude, speaking of the Chiefs, I mean, they're at home, Sunday Night Football, barely squeaking by the Chargers, 19-17, I'm pretty sure.
Divisional game, give it to them.
But look at the people the Chargers are throwing the ball to. Stone Smart? Who's Stone Smart? You know what I mean? So it's like Justin Herbert coming, again, another game where a quarterback, Justin Herbert, coming from behind. I think they were down, 13-0 after the first half. Justin Herbert.
Did they score a point in the first
missing
half?
J.K. Dobbins, missing Ladd McConkey. Justin Herbert clawing his way back into the game. People that don't watch Justin Herbert, people that watch Justin Herbert and say he's not an elite quarterback, we're just not watching the same sport. Like, the guy is clearly a top 5-6 quarterback in this league. 100%. I mean, there's not that much talent on this roster. Yes, this might be one of the best defenses in the league, but offensively, they have a great offensive line. But missing J.K. Dobbins,
when your wide receiver 1 is Palmer, it's like,
bro, their tight end 1 was Will Dissly. Then he gets hurt. Will Dissly wasn't even a great pass catcher. He was a blocking tight end on Seattle. Caught some passes, but. Now, Stone Smart, bro, was one of their main pass catchers this game. Who the hell is Stone Smart? You know what I mean? So
Palmer was their clear-cut number 1.
And Palmer's good. Palmer's a good 2, 3. He's like a 3.
He's not a 1.
He's a 3. He's a 3. That's really what he is. And Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert have kind of turned Justin Herbert's been there and they haven't done shit. It's really been Jim Harbaugh. The fact that they were in these are games that the Chargers
would get blown out in the past.
And look at them now. They're neck and neck with the Chiefs. They're 8-5. The Chiefs, I'm still, I don't think this is their year. I mean, we said this last year, but they just are a flawed team. They're not the same team. They know how to manipulate the clock at the end of the game, though. That was impressive.
If a ball would have been an inch to the left,
they lose.
They would have lost this game. And this literally has been their whole theme all year. If a foot would have been an inch in, they would have lost. I could just go on and on about
pass interference,
a
non-pass interference, a blocked field goal. That's impressive. Blocking a field goal is impressive. Wasn't there one that was a missed field goal too?
I'm pretty sure
the fumble and overtime, the Panthers overtime fumble.
Almost all of their game has been a one possession game.
So yeah, it's really.
Anyways, I don't want to get into that too deep. I mean,
I just don't think. I think the Bills are better. I think the Bills are better than the Chiefs this year. The Bills beat the Chiefs.
They beat them. I mean, that's the only team that beat them. But
you have to give Bills the Chiefs the benefit of the doubt. After they're trying to three-peat. At law of averages, though, they're not going to three-peat. No team's ever three-peated in this league before, and I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. So
the way that the rest of this league is playing right now, I can't see it.
A lot of good teams right now. We've been talking about that. A lot of good teams.
But again, when their backs against the wall, they know how to play.
Well, think about
Patrick Mahomes is in code red, they come to play.
Think about it, bro. That last drive, I think they killed 5 minutes of clock, manipulated the clock perfectly, got to the final seconds to kick that game-winning field goal. They pretty much got the first downs.
Andy Reid.
They killed the clock when they needed to and got the first downs when they needed to on third down. So they really were just...
It really does come down to coaching and quarterback.
That's it. That's really it. And great defense.
That's the other thing I want to bring up. The defense. How underrated has this defense
Trent McDuffie
been?
is a top corner in this league.
He is. I mean,
Chris Jones getting going again.
Score 0 points
in the first half. Yeah, the Chargers defense too has been really impressive though. We got to give them their kudos too. I think they're leading the league in points allowed. I think I'm not sure if that changed after this week, but they were number 1 coming into the week on points allowed. The defense. So the Chargers defense too, man.
And I think they're a step away, and I think they really turned a leaf.
Within
last year to this year. Harbaugh has came in here and completely turned this organization around.
They're a year away for sure because they just don't have enough talent on this roster.
No.
A lot of teams are a year away, like the Chargers, the Broncos, the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are. Who are you about to bring up? Sorry.
No, I was just going to mention how it's Jim, right? Jim Harbaugh.
Yes, it's Jim.
You brought it up before. I mean, guys like that come right from the NFL, they know. They know the draft. They know the wide receivers. They know
from college, right? Yeah.
So I feel like they're going to have a great draft, and next year they're going to come in with a bunch of talent.
Exactly. No, that's a very good point. And I was just saying, the Chargers are probably a year away to add some more talent. The Broncos are another one that's a year away.
Oh my God. Yeah, they're another one too.
The Cardinals, they're probably a year away too because they started off pretty strong. What were they 6-4, 6-5? They're starting to fall off a little bit here. Seattle Seahawks though. Geno Smith's been playing effective. Hasn't been turning the ball over too much. They've strung up a couple wins in a row, Dylan, and they've been playing pretty impressive. Kyler Murray had 2 terrible picks in this game. Awful. And Seattle Seahawks now have a chance to win the division. I think it's going to come down between the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams.
Absolutely.
That's what it's going to come down to. And go ahead.
This is a go either way. I mean, Seahawks have been playing out of their mind. Geno Smith, he's come to play this season. I mean, we used to see, a lot of mistakes coming from Geno Smith, but I feel like he's really stepped up into this role. It took a little bit for him to, get adjusted, get used to it, but I feel like he really feels like, a quarterback one. Like, he feels like the guy now.
Absolutely, because his first season, he was actually great his first season in Seattle. 30 touchdown passes. Last year fell off. Nice little bounce back season so far for Geno Smith. He's been effective. They're winning games. They're first in the NFC West. The Cardinals, though, because I think Kyler Murray, you put those two next to each other. Yes, Geno Smith is taller, and he's taller. That's really it. He's bigger. But you put Geno Smith and Kyler Murray next to each other. Talent-wise, alone, in a vacuum, I would take Kyler Murray. But something about Kyler Murray, just he might be one of the most talented one of the most talented quarterbacks I've ever seen as far as running around, his arm. He's got a big arm for a little guy. But for some reason, it never amounts to, success, long-term success.
Another guy that isn't consistent. I mean, when his back's against the wall,
he tanks.
He's gonna really make those mistakes.
He really tanks when he's say he starts off with. He's had a couple comebacks. Don't get me wrong, but if things are going really bad for him, he seems to spiral a little bit. You know what I mean? And we thought he matured, but it seems like he's still kind of pouts and gives up a little bit when he's like not playing well. And I still love Kyler Murray. I think he's a potential to be something in this league.
Hey, and
but
you know what? This has just come up, in the last couple of weeks. And you know what else has come up in the last couple of weeks? Black Ops 6.
Wait, are you serious? Has it came out?
Yeah.
When?
It came out like a month ago.
Wow, I used to play that game all the time. Now I like really forget about that stuff.
And as soon as it came out,
he's lost like 3 straight games. I think that's 3 weeks. No way.
I swear to God, it's a thing. It's a thing.
No way. That is crazy though.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, I don't know how true it is. It might just be a coincidence, but
deep down, actually, if you think about it, though, they do have some talent in the offense. James Conner, McBride, Marvin Harrison, Michael Wilson. They do have some players.
If you look back, at all these great quarterbacks like Tom Brady. Tom Brady wasn't at home playing Xbox. He was just sitting at home looking at games.
He was obsessed. Mahomes is obsessed. Josh Allen is obsessed.
Guys that are obsessed.
Burrow
like
is obsessed.
They're all not just like, all right, tip my hat. That's it.
Geno Smith is obsessed. Geno Smith is obsessed. Have you ever seen him tweeting in his videos? And like he's obsessed with football. Geno Smith's obsessed. Yeah. That's what you need. Most of these quarterbacks are obsessed, and
that's what you need. You need a guy that's gonna, carry your team, be the guy you go to for certain things.
It looked like Kyler Murray was turning a corner and he was maturing, but sometimes I feel like he relies too much on his talent alone and not preparation, and that might be a problem for him in his career. And he's gonna be a top 15 quarterback for his career.
Like
he's just talented.
He can be much better if he put the time in, if he was dedicated, if he could check all these boxes.
And
he's not.
The size is a problem, too. It's hard for him to see over the line of scrimmage.
It's the size of the problem. You got people like, Russell Wilson that, overcome that.
But you also have people like Johnny Manziel or even like Bryce Young, who's played better.
I was about to spring up Bryce
Young.
But
he's been better. We can't even shit on Bryce Young. Let's talk about that for a little bit. He has been Bryce Young. Oh, I can't. It's been night and day since he got benched and came back. He's been like good. Like I didn't know that the first couple of games, like last year and this season, the first couple of games, he couldn't move around. He was getting laid out. You see him evading pressure now, and I don't know if he gained confidence. I don't know if now he's just like fuck that. I'm just playing with a reckless like mindset. I don't know, but something changed in this.
So
guy.
Is that the thing now? Like if a guy's not playing that good, you bench him for a little bit, check their ego. Like Anthony Richardson, they bench him for a little bit. He comes back, he looks like a brand new Anthony Richardson. He's been a lot better too. You bench Bryce Young. I thought he was done for. I mean, we all thought he was done. I knew they were going to bring back Richardson. I thought it was dumb.
We still don't know about Bryce Young, but he's almost.
It has been night and day. I think he definitely earned a spot.
He might have earned another season as the starting quarterback.
Either A, earn another spot, or B, he definitely going to earn a spot on another team.
Think about it. Bad quarterback draft this year. You're not one of the worst teams in the league now. You're probably like not. What are they, like the 7th, 8th pick? Right? They're not top 5.
No, they're down. They're down there.
They're not top 5. I don't think they're like 4. And I think they won 4 games, bro. So like you got the Raiders, the Giants, even the Jets. I think are worse than them. They got a lot of bad teams, bro, at the bottom. The Bears, I'm pretty sure, are 4. Like you got a lot of bad right now. So listen.
So do
they have 2? I think there's 2 decent quarterbacks in this draft: Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward. Those are gonna be gone before they come. I would say roll it back one more year with this guy. You see, I can't believe I'm saying this because after the first half of the season and last season, might have been the worst quarterback of all time in that stretch. Seriously, but. This is really has been night and day. And he made a game-winning touchdown throw that just unfortunately was dropped. But he was making big, like Thielen.
2-minute drill.
Bro, all of a sudden Thielen looks like he can play again. Like, it is crazy, bro.
2-minute drill at the 1-yard line, had to drive 99 yards. He does that, and his guy just drops the ball. It's unfortunate.
You got to give him props, though. You have to give him props.
You got to give him props. And it's crazy because before he started again, after he got benched, I thought he was I didn't even think he could be a backup.
Yeah,
and now he's completely changed.
I thought he would be out of the league.
It's crazy.
It really is.
Because now it's like I could even see him on another team.
No, yeah, definitely. But I think they will give him one more year, and it is crazy for sure. Another thing that's crazy: the Eagles have won 9 straight games, franchise record, but AJ Brown is still bitching about not getting the ball. How do you feel about that?
Well, listen, I feel like this was kind of a pathetic game. I mean, yes, the Panthers are playing good football, but you're supposed to be like one of the best teams in the league, and you're going toe-to-toe with one of the worst teams. I get where the frustration's at. I get it.
So I actually you're surprised. You might be surprised with me. I actually agree with this because I do agree because Devontae Adams had a similar situation last season. The Raiders, they won the game. He barely got the ball, and he said, "Look, we won this game, but if I'm not part of the equation moving forward, we're not going to be successful." Same situation here.
Proven with AJ Brown.
They are 10-0.
I don't know the stats.
They're 10-0 since he's played with him playing this year. They're 10-0.
There's crazy stats with AJ Brown. They have better stats with AJ Brown playing than Patrick Mahomes has. There's some crazy stats. Yeah. When AJ Brown is playing, they win games.
Bro, they're 10-0 this season with AJ Brown. When AJ Brown plays, they're 10-0. So they've had a great stretch here. And look, Jalen Hurts, they kind of figured out what he was. You're not going to throw 40 times a game. You're going to run with Barkley, who's been the best player on this team. And you're going to have Jalen Hurts do the play action, run around a little bit, have him run, and have him throw to AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Goddard, who's now on IR, unfortunately.
I think he's out for the season.
Here's another big factor, bro. Saquon Barkley has now become the number one player, number one star in this offense. Is he slightly jealous of Saquon Barkley? Is he slightly jealous here? Barkley took his touches pretty much.
He did.
In a way. I know he's a running back, he's a receiver, but he essentially took his touches away.
You have to realize, these bigger guys, they want the touches. I mean, that's what gets them going. And if you don't get your guy going, then I think AJ Brown is a number 2. It comes down to Saquon, and then
he's a number one receiver for sure.
Number one receiver,
he's a top 5 receiver in the league for sure.
The number one,
number 2 on this team. Saquon Barkley is an MVP candidate this season, and but I also get AJ Brown because if I'm not part of the equation moving forward, we're not going to be successable in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think you feel like that on our flag football team too, right? If I'm not part of the equation,
then we're not. Well, there's a direct correlation usually. When I score and when we win.
You like that. You like that mentality in a way where it's not becoming toxic.
Well, they went to a Super Bowl with AJ Brown, so clearly he's a winning player. This is not a loser. This is not a losing player. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. It's not like some nobody saying this.
Or like Odell, who's never won shit. He won a Super Bowl with the Rams, but before that, when he was like, give me the ball, and they didn't win anything. I mean, Odell is one of the greatest talents ever. But I'm just giving you an example. AJ Brown's win. They win with AJ Brown.
Bad example.
I know you're a Giant fan. Example. You love Odell Beckham. Well, bro, as a Jets fan, I love Sam Darnold, and I loved him. But do
you love Sam Darnold, or you just envy him?
Bro, I shitted on him a lot this season. I've said this other shoe was going to fall off the other foot eventually. I've been saying it all season. I have to say, at this point, I was wrong. He's thrown 28 touchdown passes through 25. He's thrown... So I'm sorry. I had a little stutter over there. I just forgot my numbers. He's thrown 28 touchdown passes this season. He had 5. That's what I was struggling to say. He had 5 last game against the Falcons. 5 touchdown passes. That's crazy because Sam Darnold was almost out of the league too. But then it seemed like the right people liked him. Kyle Shanahan liked him. Kevin O'Connell liked him.
Yeah.
And Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison with this offense, Hawkinson, and he's rolling out. What is crazy about this is Kirk Cousins, the Falcons getting Kirk Cousins. The Vikings kind of kicking him to the curb, drafting a quarterback, yes, but signing Sam Darnold. And they did it for this reason because Kirk Cousins, I mean, even before the Achilles, but now with the torn Achilles, he can't move for shit. You see Darnold running around, extending plays, explosive arm. Talent-wise, he's night and day from Kirk Cousins. Sam Darnold is a top 10 quarterback now.
Good with the deep ball. He can move out of the pocket. He's like one of those quarterbacks that's just very well rounded.
Exactly.
And you could kind of tap into any of those at any second.
So in a vacuum, Kirk Cousins wasn't terrible in this game, but he made 2 awful throws where you're like, what are you doing?
And we were saying this last week. It's like, does it come to the point where we start Penix?
I think we're at that point now.
I think we're
You've
at
lost
that point.
4 straight games.
We're at the point where it's like, we're probably not making a playoff run. So
you still have a shot here, though.
We have a shot.
The Bucks, you're only a game out from the Bucks. You beat them. I'm pretty sure you beat them both games, so you have the tiebreaker on them. So
do that?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So I know they beat them once, but I for some reason I feel like they beat them both games and they have the tiebreaker. They beat them on a Thursday night game in a shootout, and I'm trying to think if they beat them again. I'm pretty sure they did though. But
this was a game. Well, it kind of just turned out of nowhere. It turned sour out of nowhere. I mean, it came down to the fourth quarter where it's kind of turned bad
for the worse,
for the Falcons. So do you start Penix?
Well, let me tell you, Kirk Cousins, I don't know if it's because his Achilles, he doesn't have as much oomph in his legs when he makes throws, so he doesn't have power. But his arm kind of looks a little shot. Mm-hmm. And look, last 4 games, they lost the last 4 games. The last 4 games, he's thrown no touchdowns, 8 interceptions. No touchdowns, 8 interceptions last 4 games. That screams wash to me, bro.
It does.
So
at this very point where the Falcons are at, yes, I know they had the tiebreaker over the Bucs, but I think you start Penix. I think you see what you got. Throw him out there.
They might be able to win more with Penix right now. Penix was a guy who started multiple years in college. He's ready.
It's not even about that for me. For me, it's
see what you have.
Get your guy ready. Get this way when you come into the new season, you got some momentum. You got some guy that that's had some chemistry with their wide receivers.
So what do you do with Kirk though? Because you're not gonna be able to trade him now because he's lost all of his stock the last couple of games. So you have him to this 4-year, $160 million deal. You're gonna have a deficit in your cap next season.
I think they trade him. I think,
but for what though? Who wants an old quarterback who's worth $40 million a year?
Plenty.
The Raiders, maybe the Jets.
Maybe the Jets.
Yeah, maybe the Jets. I would like to see the Jets maybe make a run for Sam Darnold. Honestly,
that's insane.
I'll bring Sam Darnold back if I was the Jets. I never wanted them to get rid of him.
As Sam Darnold, I would not want to come back.
I agree. If I'm Sam Darnold, I don't want anything to do with that organization. If I'm Sam
Darnold, no.
But it's funny because in that after the 2020 season, they were terrible. Sam Darnold was awful, and I'm
seeing ghosts. I'm seeing ghosts.
Not pretty. I wanted to bring Sam Darnold back. The GM, the head coach, they saw the pro day with Zach Wilson. He one of the best throws you've ever seen in the pro day. I was kind of drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit too, but I still wanted to keep Darnold. They draft Zach Wilson, trade Darnold to the Vikings. Darnold sucked, not the Vikings, the Panthers. Darnold sucked in the Panthers too. Don't get me wrong. Goes to the Niners, kind of learned for a year in the Kyle Shanahan. I feel like that was huge for him.
Didn't play much,
but I feel like that was huge for him to learn from Kyle Shanahan, who clearly liked Sam Darnold. When an offensive guy like Shanahan and Kevin O'Connell like Sam Darnold, it's telling you something. I don't know. That says a lot for me. But last but not least, bro, Monday Night Football, the last game of the week, Bengals, Cowboys. I mean, you got 2 teams that probably aren't going to make the playoffs here. But
they played good football.
It was a good game, bro. It was a good game. And, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase has been, I think Jamar Chase has been the best receiver this year. He's been dominant, bro. He's been completely dominant. No one could cover him. No one could guard him. And Joe Burrow, in a losing season, a lost season, honestly, I might say, has just put up probably his best season of his career. He's just been absolutely outstanding.
So we say this every week. I mean, at least this week it was only 27 points that their defense let up, which is still pretty bad. But for a defense like this, it's not that bad. It's just what do you do at this point? I mean, there's nothing you can. It's not like
fire the head coach. I mean, I don't know.
Get a new defensive coordinator.
He's a good coordinator. I just don't think that the players back there because he had the defense overperforming the past. I would not get rid of him. He's a good coordinator. It's I think it's more the players, bro. They don't really have a good secondary. But
something has to be done with this team.
We're gonna see in the offseason for sure. Will they bring back T. Higgins, who they franchise tagged? That's a big one right there, bro.
I feel like you need to worry less about offense and more about defense.
Well, in a way, the running game too. Chase Brown's been good, but I feel like they don't have an effective running game. It's not consistent.
But Joe Burrow is the type of guy that can get, he can be a Patrick Mahomes. He can carry his team as long as his defense is we see Patrick Mahomes. He's struggling, but they're still winning games because his defense.
Right. The year that Joe Burrow made the Super Bowl, their defense was playing great. They stifled the Chiefs to less than 20 points. I'm pretty sure in that game. So. The Bengals defense needs to play like it has in years past.
That's my whole thing. I think the defense needs to improve. You need to pick up some veterans that's going to put this defense in their place. And then maybe, come back and, try to do it again.
Bro, let's talk about it. Block punt, pass to the line of scrimmage. Guy tries to pick it up and return it on the Cowboys. I mean, we don't play football anymore, bro. We play flag football. These rules don't really fucking apply to that. We don't know shit. But you're playing football your whole life. You're a professional football player. The first thing you see, block punt. Once it passes that line of scrimmage, do not touch the ball.
You know what's crazy?
If you're on the receiving team, do not touch the ball.
This has nothing to do with that, but you brought up a great point. You play football, you know the rules, you know the circumstances you're in. It blows my mind how there's so many instances where guys will get long, even Jamar Chase in that this game. Even the play where Jamar Chase ran it back and scored a touchdown. Why not just go down, run out the clock, seal the game? There's been so many instances where football players have just, run it in for a touchdown and not being smart.
Yeah, but that sometimes
It's happened so many
sometimes
times.
players are just doing that because they know what they're doing, but they just want their stats. That's not really like a boneheaded play. The bonehead play is when you have
like pick sixes, like that where you should just slide down,
I'm
and
fine.
run out the clock.
I'm fine with that. I'm not. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with like you're going to catch a punt and you muff it, or you have a kickoff return and you start to take it out of the end zone and you hesitate and then you get stuck. Like stupid decisions where you kind of cost your team big time. Like the Chiefs Chargers game where Dicker the kicker tried to remember that last kickoff to the Chiefs where he short kicked it and they started at the 40 because he didn't get in the landing zone. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
It's like shit like that. Like how do you make that mistake in that moment of the game?
Is that a mistake or is that just a botched kick?
That's too cute right there. Maybe that's our primary example of too cute.
I don't know. I don't think that makes the cut.
Why was I thinking there was another too cute that we should talk about this week? What else happened that was a little bit too cute?
What happened? The Lions. The Lion. That was the definition. That was our too cute for the week.
That is the too cute.
That's too cute.
Yeah.
Kick the field
That was
goal.
what it was. That was what it was. You're
It's
right.
like that's the opposite end of the spectrum. Like, too cute.
I still think they're the best team in the league, but we'll get to that in our next video.
I think they are, but I don't know.
You never know. This coach might hold him back eventually. Great coach, but his personality and ego might hold him back sometimes. Hey,
I don't know. The last 2 years, it hasn't.
No, I know, and he's only went up. So we'll see what happens from there. Stay tuned for our next video. 3/4 way through the season, we're going to do a top 10. Top 10 teams 3/4 the way through. Thanks, Dylan. Let's do this next one. Take care. Goodbye.